Bakker. Thanks for coming back. We've got quite a few topics to cover today, and it's springtime, so I'm a happy chappy. Thanks for returning back to this channel. Now, let's talk about different types of diets. We're going to have a few different videos on low-carb diets today, but the question is, what low-carb diets do to your gut health, or how does your gut health get affected when you eat a low-carbohydrate kind of diet? Right? There's a huge shift in many countries around the world, particularly in America and Europe, towards going keto and towards eating more animal-based proteins, more fats, less carbohydrates in general. Now we're talking nearly all grains are being chopped out of many people's diets now, not just wheat, but we're talking most grains people are cutting out now. I'm noticing this alarming trend with many patients, particularly from the States, that are going head-on into keto, where they're consuming more meat, more fat, more processed meats, more butter, for example. People are eating butter, coconut oil, things like that, but large amounts of meat and eggs and chicken and fish. So, of course they're losing weight, but is it sustainable? Is it healthy? What's going to happen to the gut long term when you eat these kind of foods? Well, all the research that I've been looking at points out to the fact that it certainly affects your colon. Your gut bacteria get very much affected by these kind of diets. You can in some cases even starve your colon by reducing the population of short-chain fatty acids. Now these are byproducts of bacterial fermentation. So many carbohydrates, for example, will escape complete digestion, including proteins and fats. They'll actually bypass the small bowel, get into the colon. Right? Now you need good levels of bacteria there and a lot of really good microbial balance to help to break up food. When you're starting to overload the system with animal proteins, when you're going to take out carbohydrates and foods that allow a natural healthy fermentation and create a reduction in the short chain fatty acids, it normally follows that that kind of diet is often low also in antioxidants. So this is a sad fact. Many people, they're going to lose weight, but they're going to end up with a major gut problem, because you're going to get a big imbalance in the colon. Okay, more gas, more bloating, and I've seen this with several people. So what's the solution? If you had to choose between two types of low-carb diets, well, as some doctors say online, healthy keto. But my concern with healthy keto is people are still going to overload with far too much meat. All right. In 2050, it's purported that there'll be over 10 billion people on this planet, and meat consumption is completely unsustainable with that kind of level of population. It's even unsustainable today. We're seeing what's happening around the world with fires and, with how much land an animal needs actually, to produce a couple of hamburgers. It's ridiculous. I'm not a vegan, and I'm not, again, saying you should not eat meat. I think meat forms an important part of the diet, but I think it forms a very small part of the diet, okay? Not a big part of the diet, a small part. This is going to happen by default in years to come anyway, as meat becomes so expensive that people won't be able to afford to buy it anyway, and they'll be eating the quantity that they should be eating, which is small pieces of meat, not big, large steaks cooked up. It's just not a good idea, okay? So going into a high-fat, high-meat diet is not good for bowel health, and in turn it could even accelerate many different chronic diseases like diabetes or heart disease. What's the solution? More plants in your diet, okay? Definitely grains are something you don't want to chop out 100% from your diet. When I look at the comments on my YouTube channel, I find some of them quite ridiculous, where some people actually believe that you need to cut every single grain out of the diet and eat nothing but meat, eggs, chicken and fish, and some green vegetables sparingly. Some people actually believe that's the correct way to live, but I can tell you now, it's not the correct way to live. It's not balanced. You may seem all nice and sexy and all great the first few years, but I would like to talk to that person in 25 or 30 years of that kind of diet consumption, and I would expect a lot of health complications. I don't even think the person will last that long with that type of diet approach. So if you look at people living into Mediterranean, they never cut out lots of different grains out of their diet. The Japanese never took rice out their diet. Okay, the Italians and Greeks never took pasta out of the diet. Did they all die of heart disease at young age? No, the opposite. They lived long lifespans. They were skinny people. They weren't fat people. Okay, they were balanced. They had balanced lifestyles where they worked hard. and they didn't just go to takeaway 2 or 3 times a week. These people made their own food, but they did have a diet that was based in high antioxidant rich foods. They did eat meat, but sparingly, and had a large amount of plants, nuts and seeds and grains in the diet. That, to me, is the basis of a healthy diet. It's the combination of plenty of plant-based proteins, natural healthy fats, and some protein, but not protein top heavy. And if you are going to look at proteins, remember plants and grains often have a lot of protein in them too. You don't need meat to get protein, okay? Many sources. So it's not a great idea to plunge head on into a high protein diet and forgetting the fact that you've got bacteria down there that need feeding as well. Don't forget the carbs. They're an important part of your diet. Let's read out a few of my favorites. Quinoa, millet, oats, buckwheat, bananas, sweet potatoes, beetroots, blueberries, grapefruits. I love grapefruits. Apples and chickpeas. Those are some key foods that many people take out. And the other one I should add to that list would be rice, especially brown rice. Many people take that out now thinking they're going to get fat from brown rice. So nothing could be further from the truth. All right, there you have it. Don't forget to click on the link if you want my free Candida report. Thanks for tuning in.